So, the very first job to do is to make the pizza base. I'm using half the amounts that I would use for an ordinary loaf of bread, with the addition of olive oil. I've got a lovely olive oil here. It's a white truffle variety. The truffle gives it a lovely flavour, and using olive oil in a pizza dough helps the dough to become stretchy, so that when you stretch it out to make the pizza shape, it doesn't break. Another good thing about using pizza dough is it only needs to be proved once, which is great because you can make it late afternoon and be eating it at tea time. And if you have an electric mixer with a dough attachment, it takes just 5 minutes to knead. And when you've done that, it should be nice and stretchy. Then you can just cover it over and put it in a warm place for about an hour until it's doubled in size. Going to need plenty of flour on this board because this is a very soft dough with that olive oil in it. Onto the board with it, and then we can start to knock it back. Again, lots of flour on top, and give it a good punch. This helps to get the air out of it. We don't want any big air bubbles, just lovely soft bread. Even with all that flour, it's still sticking a bit, so a scraper's a really good idea. Let's give it a little bit of a knead now and get it into a nice round shape to begin with. There, that should do. Now some baking paper, so it's easier to get off the board. A little bit of cornmeal. This adds to the texture of the base and also helps it not to stick. A bit on top now. And I'm going to roll it out so it's practically the size of this bit of paper. I'm not going to bother with round pizzas. I want it to fill the tray. Now for the best bit, the pizza toppings. This lovely thick tomato sauce is just a tin of tomatoes which has been reduced in a frying pan. I've added pepper and salt and a few herbs, and it's become quite thick. I'm not going to put too much on because that will make my pizza soggy. So I'm going to spread it out quite well. It's quite concentrated, so there'll be a lovely flavour there. Using a knife to get almost to the edges, but don't forget to leave that lovely bit on the outside which becomes the crust. Now for the meat. I have some sausages here and chicken. The sausages are purely an ordinary Cumberland sausage which I've taken the skin off and fried in little pieces. The fried chicken is just pepper and salt with a little bit of jerk seasoning. And again, I'm not going to put too much on. I'm going to spread them out. Next, a little bit of Serrano ham. This is lovely, this ham. I'm going to cut it into slices and lay it on top of the pizza, so it looks as if it's just fallen on top. One of the lovely things about making pizza is you can really use any topping you like. You can put on all your favourite things and personalise it to make it quite unique to you. Now, a must for any pizza has got to be mozzarella cheese. I've got the buffalo mozzarella here, and I'm going to squeeze it in little places, just tuck it in. This will give it that lovely gooey, cheesy stringiness that you come to expect with a pizza. Here I've got some of those little cherry tomatoes which are quite sweet, also a few olives, black and green, and the little red things are pepper dew piquant peppers, little tiny ones. They're lovely and hot and spicy but sweet at the same time and work really well in a pizza. I've cut them in half so they don't overpower everything else. I know the tomato flavour comes from the tomato sauce, but I always think it's nice to have a few little sweet tomatoes in there too. With all that cheesiness, it's nice to come across a mouthful of lovely sweet tomatoiness. And the last little addition, a few pieces of olive. Then all that's left to add is the cheese. And again, we don't want too much of it. It's very easy to put too much cheese on a pizza, and all you get is a solid piece of cheese on top. So sprinkled around, and once it's cooked it will be lovely and golden. Now I have a hot baking tray in the oven already, and the oven's preheated. A hot baking tray helps to give a lovely crispy base. And there we go, tea for two hot out of the oven. We love the puffy pizza crust on this one, and I've got to be honest, we just cut it and eat it from the board, and that's our tea. A few little additions are always nice as well. Maybe some sweet potato wedges or a nice green salad. Well, that's about it from me. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the recipe today. Have a great week, and I'll catch you again very soon.